Africa, a continent of incredible diversity and beauty, home to over 1.4 billion people and vast natural resources. From the snow-capped peaks of Mount Kilimanjaro to the lush rainforests of the Congo Basin, from the sprawling savannas of the Serengeti to the arid dunes of the Sahara Desert, Africa's landscapes are as varied as they are breathtaking. Yet, despite this abundance, Africa remains one of the world's poorest regions. Why is that? While history, politics, and economics play significant roles, Africa's geography has had a profound impact on its development. The very features that make Africa so captivating, its vast deserts, towering mountains, and dense rainforests, have also posed significant challenges to its people and their quest for prosperity. These natural barriers have shaped trade routes, limited access to resources, and influenced the spread of both disease and innovation. Join me as we journey across this magnificent continent to explore the intricate ways in which Africa's geography has shaped its economic challenges and how its people are adapting and innovating to overcome them. To truly grasp the impact of geography on Africa, one must first comprehend its immense scale. Africa is not merely a large landmass. It is a continent of staggering proportions, covering over 30 million square kilometers. To put that into perspective, imagine fitting the United States, China, India, and most of Europe within its borders. This sheer size brings with it a unique set of challenges. The diversity of Africa's landscapes is equally astounding. From the moment you set foot on this continent, you are greeted by a kaleidoscope of ecosystems, each with its own unique set of challenges and opportunities. The Sahara Desert, the largest hot desert on Earth, stretches across North Africa like a giant ocean of sand, creating a formidable barrier between the north and the south. Further south, the Congo Basin, a vast expanse of rainforest, second only to the Amazon, presents its own set of obstacles. The dense canopy and intricate network of rivers make travel and communication difficult, while the humid climate poses challenges to human health and infrastructure development. And then there are the savannas, stretching across vast swathes of the continent, teeming with life in delicate balance with the elements. These grasslands, while breathtaking in their beauty, are also vulnerable to the unpredictable rhythms of drought and flood, impacting the livelihoods of millions who depend on them. This incredible diversity, while a source of immense natural beauty and cultural richness, also presents formidable obstacles to development. The sheer size of the continent makes communication and transportation between regions a logistical challenge, hindering trade and economic integration. Imagine trying to build a railway across the Sahara, or navigate the dense network of rivers in the Congo Basin. These are not challenges for the faint of heart. Moreover, the varied geography has led to the development of distinct cultures and communities, each adapted to their specific environments. While this diversity is a source of strength, it also makes it challenging to forge a unified national identity and implement policies that cater to the needs of all. Imagine a country with no coastline, completely surrounded by its neighbors. This is the reality for 16 African nations, classified as landlocked countries. These nations face unique challenges, cut off from the sea, a vital artery for trade and economic growth. Without direct access to ports, they rely heavily on their neighbors for the import and export of goods, often at the mercy of political whims and fluctuating tariffs. Take the example of the Republic of Chad, located in the heart of north-central Africa. Thousands of miles from the nearest coastline, Chad relies heavily on a single paved road connecting it to Cameroon's port of Douala for the majority of its international trade. This dependence makes Chad vulnerable to disruptions in transportation routes, political instability in neighboring countries, and fluctuating transportation costs. The challenges faced by landlocked countries are further compounded by Africa's often unforgiving terrain. Rugged mountains and vast deserts pose significant obstacles to the construction of roads and railways, further isolating communities and stifling economic growth. The Ethiopian highlands, for example, while breathtaking in their beauty, present a formidable barrier to transportation, making it difficult to connect remote communities to markets and essential services. Similarly, the Congo rainforest, with its dense vegetation and intricate network of rivers, poses significant logistical challenges. Building and maintaining infrastructure in such an environment is a costly and complex endeavor. This lack of reliable transportation infrastructure makes it difficult for businesses to operate efficiently, discourages investment, and limits access to education, healthcare, and other essential services for isolated communities. The story of landlocked Africa is a poignant reminder of the critical importance of geography in shaping economic destinies. It highlights the need for innovative solutions, regional cooperation, and international support to overcome these geographical barriers and unlock the economic potential of these landlocked nations. Stretching across the width of Africa, a sea of sand stretches as far as the eye can see, the Sahara Desert. This immense expanse, the largest hot desert in the world, has played a pivotal role in shaping the destiny of the continent, acting as a formidable natural barrier separating North Africa from the rest of the continent. For millennia, the Sahara posed a significant challenge to the movement of people, goods, and ideas. The harsh conditions, scorching temperatures, and lack of water made it a perilous journey for even the most seasoned travelers. Yet despite these challenges, the Sahara was never an insurmountable barrier. In ancient times, intrepid traders traversed the Sahara using camel caravans, establishing vital trade routes that connected the Mediterranean world to sub-Saharan Africa. These caravans, laden with gold, salt, ivory, and slaves, played a pivotal role in shaping the history and culture of both regions. Cities like Timbuktu, located on the southern edge of the Sahara, flourished as centers of trade and learning, testament to the enduring human spirit in overcoming geographical barriers. However, the legacy of the Sahara Divide is not solely confined to the annals of history. Even today, the desert continues to pose significant challenges to the integration and development of the African continent. While modern technology has made it easier to traverse the Sahara, the cost and logistical complexities remain significant. The construction of trans-Saharan infrastructure, such as roads and railways, is a costly and challenging endeavor, often hampered by the harsh desert conditions and political instability. The lack of reliable transportation links across the Sahara continues to hinder trade and economic integration between North Africa and the rest of the continent. The Sahara Divide serves as a stark reminder of the enduring impact of geography on human societies. While modern technology has mitigated some of the challenges, the Sahara continues to shape the economic and social landscape of Africa. Overcoming this geographical barrier remains a key challenge for the continent as it seeks to foster greater integration and shared prosperity. Chapter 4. A continent at the mercy of the elements. From the scorching heat of the Sahara to the torrential downpours of the Congo Basin, Africa is a continent of climatic extremes. This diverse tapestry of weather patterns, while contributing to the continent's breathtaking beauty, also presents formidable challenges to its inhabitants. The Sahel region, a semi-arid belt stretching across Africa just south of the Sahara, exemplifies the precarious balance between humanity and nature. This region is characterized by erratic rainfall patterns, leading to cycles of devastating droughts and flash floods. For the millions of people who call the Sahel home, life is a constant struggle against the elements. During periods of drought, the land turns parched and barren, crops wither and die, and livestock perish from lack of water and grazing land. These droughts can have devastating consequences, leading to famine, displacement, and conflict over scarce resources. The images of emaciated children and families struggling to survive amidst a parched landscape are a stark reminder of the human cost of climate variability in Africa. On the other hand, when the rains do arrive, they often come in torrents, overwhelming the parched land and causing widespread flooding. These floods can wash away crops, destroy homes, and spread waterborne diseases, further exacerbating the challenges faced by communities already struggling with the aftermath of drought. In the Horn of Africa, a region prone to prolonged droughts, pastoralist communities are particularly vulnerable to the vagaries of the climate. Their livelihoods, dependent on healthy livestock and access to grazing land, are severely impacted by prolonged dry spells. As water sources dry up and vegetation disappears, these communities are forced to migrate in search of sustenance, often leading to conflict with other groups over dwindling resources. The unpredictable nature of Africa's climate poses significant challenges to agricultural productivity, food security, and economic development. Farmers face a constant battle against the elements, uncertain of when to plant, what to plant, and whether their crops will survive to harvest. This uncertainty makes it difficult to escape the cycle of poverty and build resilience against future climate shocks. Chapter 5. Rivers of Promise, Shackled by Nature. Africa is a continent carved by mighty rivers, their sinuous courses snaking across the landscape like arteries nourishing the land. The Nile, the Congo, the Zambezi, the Niger, these rivers evoke a sense of awe and wonder, their waters teeming with life and their banks home to diverse ecosystems. Yet despite their immense size and power, Africa's rivers have often presented more of a barrier than a boon to development. Unlike the navigable waterways of Europe or Asia, which have facilitated trade and transportation for centuries, many of Africa's rivers are interrupted by rapids, waterfalls and cataracts, making them unsuitable for large-scale navigation. The Congo River, for example, despite being the second longest river in Africa and boasting the world's second largest rainforest, is navigable only in sections, its course punctuated by rapids and waterfalls that make it impossible for large vessels to traverse its entire length. This lack of navigability has had a profound impact on Africa's economic development. While rivers in other parts of the world have served as natural highways, facilitating the movement of people, goods and ideas, Africa's rivers have often acted as barriers, isolating communities and hindering trade. Imagine the possibilities if goods could be transported cheaply and efficiently along the Congo River, connecting the heart of Africa to the Atlantic coast. The Zambezi River, home to the awe-inspiring Victoria Falls, is another example of a river with immense potential but limited navigability. While the Zambezi does offer some stretches suitable for navigation, its course is interrupted by rapids and gorges, most notably the Kariba Gorge, which impede the passage of large vessels. This lack of navigable waterways has made it challenging and expensive to transport goods and people across long distances in Africa. Land transportation, often relying on poorly maintained roads and limited railway networks, is costly, slow and unreliable, further hindering economic integration and development. Chapter 6. The Unseen Enemy, Disease and Development. As we journey across Africa, exploring the impact of its geography, we encounter a formidable foe, one that cannot be seen with the naked eye but has had a profound impact on the continent's history and development: disease. Africa's tropical climate, while conducive to biodiversity, also provides ideal breeding grounds for a host of infectious diseases, many of which are endemic to the continent: malaria, yellow fever, sleeping sickness, river blindness. These diseases have plagued Africa for centuries, claiming countless lives and hindering economic progress. Malaria, spread through mosquito bites, remains one of the deadliest diseases in Africa, particularly among young children and pregnant women. The humid climate and abundant breeding sites for mosquitoes make many parts of Africa highly susceptible to malaria transmission. Despite significant progress in recent years in combating the disease, malaria continues to pose a significant public health challenge, draining resources and hindering productivity. Sleeping sickness, spread by the tsetse fly, is another debilitating disease endemic to sub-Saharan Africa. The disease affects both humans and livestock, causing neurological disorders and, if left untreated, death. The presence of tsetse flies in many rural areas of Africa hampers agricultural development and livestock rearing, trapping communities in a cycle of poverty. River blindness, caused by a parasitic worm transmitted through the bites of black flies, is another neglected tropical disease that afflicts millions of people in Africa. The disease, as its name suggests, is prevalent in areas close to fast-flowing rivers where the black flies breed. It causes severe itching, skin lesions, and in its advanced stages, blindness. River blindness not only causes immense suffering, but also leads to economic hardship, as those afflicted are often unable to work or care for their families. The burden of disease in Africa goes beyond the immediate impact on individuals and families. It has far-reaching consequences for economic development, hindering productivity, discouraging investment, and perpetuating poverty. Combating these diseases requires a multi-pronged approach, including improved sanitation and hygiene, access to clean water, vector control, and affordable health care. Chapter 7. The paradox of plenty, the resource curse. Africa, a continent brimming with natural resources from vast deposits of gold and diamonds to oil reserves that fuel the global economy, might appear to be a land of immense wealth. Yet, this abundance of natural resources has often been more of a curse than a blessing, a phenomenon known as the resource curse. The discovery of oil, for example, while initially seen as a windfall for many African nations, has often led to corruption, conflict, and environmental degradation. Instead of benefiting the wider population, oil wealth has often been siphoned off by corrupt officials, fueling internal strife and instability. The Niger Delta region of Nigeria, despite being rich in oil reserves, remains mired in poverty and environmental degradation, a stark reminder of the resource curse at play. The diamond trade, while sparkling with allure, has also left a trail of blood and conflict in its wake. In countries like Sierra Leone and Angola, diamonds have fueled brutal civil wars, with rebel groups vying for control of these lucrative resources. The term blood diamonds serves as a chilling reminder of the human cost of this trade. Even seemingly benign resources like timber and minerals have in some cases been exploited at the expense of local communities and the environment. Deforestation, driven by the demand for timber and agricultural land, has led to soil erosion, habitat loss, and increased vulnerability to climate change. The resource curse in Africa is often exacerbated by weak governance, corruption, and a lack of transparency. Instead of being used to fund development, improve infrastructure, and empower local communities, resource revenues are often mismanaged, squandered, or stolen, leaving the majority of the population mired in poverty. Overcoming the resource curse requires a fundamental shift in approach, one that prioritizes sustainable development, good governance, and equitable distribution of benefits. It requires investing in education, healthcare, and infrastructure so that future generations can benefit from their natural heritage. Chapter 8. Scars of Empire, Colonial Borders, and Fragmented Nations. As we delve deeper into the complex tapestry of factors shaping Africa's development, we encounter another legacy that continues to cast a long shadow over the continent: the legacy of colonialism. While the era of European colonialism in Africa officially ended in the mid-20th century, its impacts are still felt today, particularly in the artificial borders that were drawn with little regard for existing ethnic, cultural, or geographical realities. Imagine a continent carved up like a giant jigsaw puzzle with pieces forced together that don't quite fit. This is the legacy of the Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885, where European powers, in a breathtaking display of arrogance and disregard for African sovereignty, divided the continent amongst themselves, drawing lines on maps that had little to do with the realities on the ground. These arbitrarily drawn borders often grouped together disparate ethnic groups with different languages, cultures, and histories, while dividing others who shared strong ties. This artificial division has had a profound impact on post-colonial Africa, leading to ethnic tensions, political instability, and conflict. The Rwandan genocide of 1994, one of the darkest chapters in human history, stands as a stark reminder of the dangers of ethnic divisions exploited for political gain. The genocide, rooted in decades of ethnic tensions exacerbated by colonial policies, resulted in the deaths of an estimated 800,000 people. The legacy of colonialism is not just about violence and conflict. It's also about the economic structures that were put in place, often designed to benefit the colonial powers at the expense of their colonies. These structures, characterized by extractive industries, monoculture agriculture, and a dependence on raw material exports, continue to hinder Africa's economic transformation. Overcoming the legacy of colonialism requires addressing these historical injustices, promoting good governance, investing in education and healthcare, and fostering regional integration based on mutual respect and cooperation. Woodrow, a continent of resilience and opportunity. Our journey through Africa's diverse landscapes has revealed the profound influence geography has had on its history, its challenges, and its opportunities. From the vast Sahara Desert to the mighty Congo River, from the fertile Nile Delta to the savannas teeming with life, Africa's geography has shaped its destiny in profound ways. Yet, despite these geographical challenges, Africa is a continent of immense potential. Advances in technology, infrastructure, and international cooperation are helping to bridge the gaps created by geography. The story of Africa is not one of inevitable poverty, but of resilience and opportunity. What do you think are the biggest opportunities for Africa's growth? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the stories shaping our world.